time for a break. Grab a coffee, get comfy, and catch up with old friends. Join us for an easy chat on all the biggest news stories of the day on ICRT Breakdown, a bilingual 2030 policy program brought to you in cooperation with the National Development Council.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to ICRT's Breakdown. Come and join us while we discuss some very interesting topics with some very interesting people. And at the same time, we're going to help you learn some more about those important topics out there and improve your English at the same time. What a deal, I would say. And speaking of deals, I think that has to do with our topic today. Is that right? I'm talking to my partner in crime here, Paz.
Hello, I'm Paz Bueno. And for today's breakdown, we're going to be breaking down the topic of the stock market.
What? The stock market?
The stock market. Joining us today is Jason Shin. He's a senior research analyst at MacroMicro, which is a professional macro investment platform. He's an expert, of course, in macroeconomic analysis research on raw materials, which I have learned include crude oil, gold, and natural gas. And he is also the host of the MacroMicro or podcast, and he's also a speaker and lecturer. So who better than to talk about the stock market and to help enlighten us on this very complicated topic. Hi, Jason.
Hello, team. Hello, Paz. This is Jason Shin from MacroMicro. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I'm a little curious. The name of your company, MacroMicro. So macro is kind of like big, micro is kind of small.
Exactly.
So you guys are the big, small company? I don't get it.
So macro stands for macroeconomics.
Okay.
Micro is microeconomics.
Yes, okay.
But we focus more on macroeconomics, the 总体经济 of each country in the world. That's mostly what we are focusing on. Stock market, interest rate, bond, foreign exchange, real estate, and commodities. That's the stuff that we focus on.
And so is this only Taiwan markets or global markets?
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the global market.
Okay.
So basically, we are a macro investing online platform. We provide macroeconomic and financial data across the world, like up to almost 40 million data points across the world. Like I said, it includes data like employment, GDP, interest rate, foreign exchange, stuff like that.
All the fun stuff, huh?
Yes.
Have you fallen asleep yet, Paz?
No, actually, Jason defined what I wanted to define, which is what macroeconomics is. So macroeconomics, like Jason says, is kind of like the overall aspects of an economy.
Looking at the big picture.
Exactly. So the effects of national income, employment, the levels of inflation, and so on and so forth.
And then microeconomics is?
The small version.
Right. Looking at it from maybe the personal point of view, from the smaller picture. Maybe Jason give an even better definition.
OK， 如果我们说的是比较学术一点的微观经济学，那可能就是基本上就在研究消费者的行为、价格如何影响厂商等等。当然，如果微观一点的想法，可能是那个别的公司股票、股市怎么走，那这个产业的一些前景是如何，这个我们可能就比较定义为 micro 一点所以其实我们同时从 top down的角度看 macroeconomics， 那同时也从 bottom up 的一些角度，然后来看可能一些重要的个股或是一些重要的产业，他们的未来走势是如何。
Okay, I see. So microeconomics is more about dealing with like consumers or manufacturers and then their own individual stocks and then following the trends of those. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting some lessons so quickly into our discussion.
I'm going to be learning a lot today.
I'm going to give you a test after this, okay?
I'll probably fail it.
I asked Jason to write up the test questions already, and he'll grade you, okay?
So Jason, can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do? So obviously you are a researcher, you're an analyst of macroeconomics. What does your day-to-day look like?
I used to do macro research on Asia-Pacific economies like Taiwan, India, and Japan. But now I focus more on commodities market, such as crude oil, natural gas, gold, industrial metal, and agricultures. So you can imagine for the past 2 or 3 years, like Russian-Ukraine conflict or the current Middle East conflict, those type of military conflict or war, how are they going to impact the supply and demand of those products? That's the main job I'm dealing with. But that's only part of my job. I sometimes work with the engineering team and product managers to build features on our website. And occasionally I do podcasts with on our channel. I'm actually not the host. I sometimes go to our channel to do podcasts. And in addition to those stuffs like research, product, podcasts. We are expanding globally. So sometimes I help some of our team with overseas expansion and even foreign recruitment. So like we're on the lookout for foreign customers and foreign talent. So these are the type of things I work on a daily basis.
I see.
I'm
Wow.
I'm a little curious. So with your company, are the people that you're dealing with, is this like mom and pop investors? Is it, like normal people who are investing in through your company, or are you going through retail investors? So it is kind of like the mom and pop investor, so to speak.
The website is kind of like a subscription-based services. The users subscribe to our platform. They can use our data chart and watch our report analysis. Most of the subscribers are, like I said, retail investor, probably age around 30 to 50, from tech industry, financial industry, stuff like that. But we also have a what we call 2B side. Like we deal with institutional clients, whether it's big company, tech company, or sometimes financial institution invite us to do speech or outlook. So yeah, we deal with both institutional and retail clients.
And you took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was looking for. Institutional investors.
Exactly.
So you deal with both. Okay, cool.
Yes.
我平常的工作大部分的时间都聚焦在原物料市场。我以前有在看亚太的经济体，像台湾啊、日本跟印度，现在主要都在原物料。那像是原油、天然气、黄金、金属跟农产品都是我的负责范围。那像前几年的俄乌战争跟目前的一些中东局势，那这些战争或是一些地缘事件如何影响原物料的供给需求，可能就是我平常在分析的范围。那除此之外，我同时也会跟工程团队啊，然后 PM 产品经理合作去进行一些网站上面的产品的打造。偶尔还会上 podcast 跟我们这个主持人去进行讨论一些国际时事。再来是我们的有一些海外的团队，我也会进行负责跟帮忙。那包括可能是要打入新的市场，找寻新的客户，或者是寻找一些新的外国人才，这些都是我工作上面可能会遇到的一些活动。
So today we've asked Jason to join us in talking about the recent surge in AI concept stocks. So those are stocks related to the artificial intelligence industry, and also to talk about the broader market trends or the general direction in which the stock market is moving. So since March 21st, the Taiwan stock market has consistently stayed above 20,000 points each day, attracting a lot of money. So whether it's foreign investors or individual traders, I think the stock market is kind of becoming a really hot topic these days. So Jason is here to help us understand what are the underlying factors of this trend, and also to share some insights on how investors can navigate these waters.
Okay.
Yes.
So we think the underlying forces that drives Taiwan stock market incredible performance during the past year or so has got to be the launch of ChatGPT and the proliferation of generative AI. The concept of AI is nothing new. It was first introduced by Alan Turing, a British mathematician and computer scientist. He was the first one that brought out the concept of AI. In early 2010s, AI has another boom cycle because of the success of deep learning technology, because of computing power increases a lot, also because of there's a lot of data to trend for those model. But now AI is already everywhere in our daily life, from recommendation you get from your Netflix app or in the voice assistant in your iPhone Siri, or even Tesla's self-driving car algorithm. So AI is everywhere. But this time is a little bit different. How generative AI is different because it can be used almost in every sector and every business setting. For example, like whether it's content creation, like AI-generated image, audio, video, or even customer services. I'll give you an example. Our company, we use ChatGPT and OpenAI's technology to build what we call MMGPT. It's kind of like an assistant. You can ask anything related to macroeconomics on our website. It doesn't tell you whether the stock is going to go up or down tomorrow, but it will tell you what indicators to look for, what does it mean, what's the latest value of those indicators, and where to find those information on our website. So it gives you an idea of how generative AI is applied on every sector or every aspect of our life. And so our research shows that globally, generative AI related revenue is going to grow at 40% annually in the next 10 years. And because of the amount of data and computing power required to train those models is so massive, so hardwares like server, data storage, and infrastructure services provider are going to benefit from this trend first. And later on, software and end customer application will eventually catch up and even grow at a higher speed in the future. So those hardware I just mentioned, like server, data memory, semiconductor, are what Taiwan's economy and industry are good for. Everyone talks about how NVIDIA is doing very good. Their revenue rose tenfold to $20 billion US. But people didn't realize Taiwan's export figure also grew very rapidly during the same time. And on top of that, Taiwan semiconductor is probably world number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
Taiwan semiconductor is likely to maintain our technology advantage, whether it's manufacturing ability, advanced packaging ability, or even the whole ecosystem. Those aspects give Taiwan some edges over the world. And on top of that, Taiwan is now U.S. most important trade partner, partly because of the current U.S. and China rivalry and tech war. So I think all these factors contributed to the stock market performance during the past year.
Yeah.
所以 AI 的概念其实早就发明了，大概70年前就被图灵提出来，所以从现在 Netflix 的那些推荐啊，然后 iPhone 里面的 Siri 或是 Tesla 里面的自驾车的这些演算法，其实都有 AI 的身影。那但这一次为什么不太一样？因为生成式 AI 它其实可以应用在各种的商业场景跟各种的产业。像我刚刚有举例 M 平方，我们自己就有打造一个产品叫 GPT， 基本上用户都可以上来我们的网站询问总经金融相关的一些问题，他可能不会告诉你市场明天会涨会跌，但他会告诉你说，如果你想观察美股或台股，需要知道哪些指标，这些指标代表的含义是什么，它最新的数值是什么，还有在哪边找到这些资讯。那我们的研究发现说，未来10年生成式 AI 相关的营收可能会以每年 40% 的一个速率在进行成长，而且是全球的。那因为你要去训练这些 AI 的模型，需要大量的数据跟运算能力，所以硬体设备包括伺服器啊、资料储存，然后还有一些基础设施的服务商应该会首先受惠，所以有点像是台湾现在的一个状况。那未来可能软体商，然后还有更终端用户可以用到的一些产品，可能才会 catch up 上来，但他们的成长速度应该也会很快啦。那台湾可能大家都在讨论 NVIDIA 的很强，那营收成长10倍，但其实在这个同一个时间，台湾的出口，尤其是在自动讯产品的部分，也是快速的成长。除此之外，其实台湾的一个半导体产业在全世界有一个很领先的一个优势，不管是在制造在先进封装，还是在我们整个生态链的一个完整性，都是领先其他国家的。再加上近几年中美抗争的一个因素，然后还有科技战的一个情况下，导致说台湾进而就是受惠了，就是意外的受惠。所以这几个因素加总下来，带动就是台湾的股市在这一两年都有一个很不错的表现。
So you're saying that one of the driving forces behind the stock market growth here in Taiwan has been the AI sector and industry. And I'm just curious, what percentage reflects that growth? And at the same time, do you think if it's too much growth is relying on the AI and the chip industries and stuff like that, could that also be a problem in the future? If any of those markets decide to slow down, will it bring down the whole stock market here in Taiwan?
这其实是个蛮有趣的问题。台湾的股市大概有70%是在电子制造业或者科技业啦，所以确实台湾的一个股市是相对其他国家是有蛮集中的一个状况。就连美国它的一个科技业，可能把 Amazon、Tesla 如果它的也算科技业的话，美股大概才大概4-5% 左右，所以台湾确实是蛮仰赖科技领域这一块。那有一些国家过度仰赖单一产业的时候，会出现一些问题，尤其是像原物料 有些国家新兴市场它特别仰赖原物料的时候，当这个原物料价格不好的时候，那这个国家的整个收入的状况可能就会受到影响。所以有些人说半导体就像新的石油一样，当然是说如果未来哪一天台湾的半导体没那么强了，然后我们有过度依赖的情况下，我们的经济波动可能会加剧，但好在是现在刚好科技就是在一个势头之上，所以我们反而是因此受惠因为我们就是有点像是加重压注在这个产业，这个产业又在势头之上，那可能对台湾的经济其实还有股市都是一件比较好的事情。
Yeah. So overall is that, like Jason says, so Taiwan's stock market heavily relies on the technology sector. So you mentioned like 70% of Taiwan stocks are into the technology sector.
Which is a big proportion.
Yes. So compared to other countries who have also maybe like relied on industry-specific stocks when the prices of raw materials fluctuates, then obviously then that country's economy will also fluctuate along with it. But the benefit of technology is that right now it's the leading industry. Like technology is in everything.
It's hot right now.
Yes, and it's going to continue innovating and improving, and so even though, yes, Taiwan's stock market is, some people might consider maybe overly reliant on the tech industry because the tech industry right now is kind of like at the forefront of things. So it's actually a benefit to Taiwan.
Right. So if someone now they want to take advantage of the hotness of the Taiwan stock market, but at the same time, would you maybe advise them to maybe diversify their investments too? So you want to invest in the high-tech stuff, but maybe at the same time divest and consider other options so to kind of lower your risks.
Of course, first it depends on your risk appetite for investing. Let's say you are
so
20.
if we have no appetite for risk,
Maybe don't invest.
Then maybe don't invest in stock market. Maybe consider something less risky, for example, like bond or fixed income financial products.
Okay, say we have some appetite though.
Yes.
So we're going into the stock market, but maybe I don't want to put 100% of my investment in, in chips or something like that.
Sometimes I think ETF might be a better choice if you don't want to spend too much time researching or analyzing a company, or maybe you don't have all the time. I would say investing in ETF might be a good option. So like the first one is it's not costly. Compared to mutual fund, ETF usually costs less.
Yeah, so you brought up a good point just now, Jason. You're talking about ETFs, but what's the difference between an ETF and a mutual fund? And how are the benefits or the risks different between the two?
I'll probably have to explain this in Chinese.
Okay, go ahead.
第一个差别 ETF 它其实叫 Exchange Traded Fund， 它可以在集中交易所进行上市跟交易，就像股票一样。那共同基金它是透过银行或是券商
That's a
这样
mutual
子的。
fund.
Yes, that's mutual fund. 银行或券商这样的管道进行申购，所以这是第一个不同的点，它的一个交易方式或购买方式不太一样。那第二个点是ETF， 它最后一个字是 F 嘛 ，fund， 所以它跟共同基金一样是集合众人的资金进行投资，但差别在于共同基金通常是会有一个基金经理人进行主观的交易或量化的交易啦，但 ETF 它会根据指数编制的一个比较像是有规则说明书要怎么投资，甚至它直接去投资大盘，比如说0050台湾加权指数都是有明确的一个规则，哪些股票可以投资，规则都清清楚楚写在外面，所以你完完全知道你买这档基金你就会得到什么样的东西，所以这是第二个概念的不一样。那第三个就是说共同基金的成本通常比较贵，那 ETF 的基金通常比较便宜，至少我知道在美国的情况下 ETF 有一些它的管理手续费可以低到 0.1% 以下，共同基金通常可以高达1到2% 不等，所以成本的不同。那第四个就是说刚刚讲到共同基金通常需要仰赖基金经理人的一个主观判断，可是并不是所有的基金经理人都可以像巴菲特一样长期的打败大盘，所以很多人现在就决定选择我打不过你我就加入你，那我就直接购买大盘，跟着经济然后还有股市长期向上的一个特性，然后来赚取收入。
Did you get all that there?
Maybe you can summarize that because I have no knowledge.
To me, it's in simple terms, the difference between the two is actually just the management. Exactly. So you're saying the ETF is basically they have clear rules, what they're investing in,
yes.
maybe even what the proportion of how much they put in this company and that company or this market and that market. Whereas the mutual funds, it's more up to the management of that fund.
Yes.
And so it's up to their individual decision. And as you said, maybe not every manager is as smart as someone like Warren Buffett.
Yes.
And they're able to outguess the market every time.
Or outperform the market.
Exactly.
Okay. So basically, like when you're going into the stock market, when you're deciding to invest your money into this, is consider all of your options, see what your risk appetite is, and then make decisions based off of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Don't play too hard.
Okay, so we learned a lot today about
Yes.
the stock market and investing too.
I can say I know a little bit more than I did compared to when I first came into this
I think that's good. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Like you only need to, grow incrementally every
Yes.
day.
Well, I think we've learned a lot today. We've learned a lot about the market. We've learned how to look at the market, which I think is the most important thing that anyone can do. To have very clear eyes when you decide to invest and make wise investments.
Okay, so in a nutshell, the semiconductor industry is really big right now because generative AI is evolving very quickly, and because it's so useful in many different ways. It's not just specific like in the tech industry, but rather generative AI can be used in any industry. So that's what's driving AI stocks to rise. That's what I learned that I'm going to be looking at.
I think you learned a lot right there.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's move on to the fun part of the show. After all of this information and learning about the stock market, let's talk about something fun.
Okay.
And that's our cat's meow or our pet peeve. And
What's that?
Okay, so a pet peeve is just something, each of us have something we really don't like.
Okay.
Like I have like one friend who won't eat any food with 香菜.
I see.
I can't understand, but that's his pet peeve.
Or when you're taking a test in the classroom and this one person's just grabbing the pen and they're going like this all the time and you're like, can you please
Stop right
Yes,
now.
that is a pet
That's
peeve.
a pet peeve, right. And then, since we have the pet peeve, then we need to have a cat's meow too. And so a cat's meow is something really cool, something really nice. Some nice little cat just meow, 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 someone you want to pet and you want to get close to. So these are maybe something in English which you really like, or maybe you really dislike. Mm-hmm. And it seems like more and more we have, I think we mainly have cat's meows, don't we?
Yeah, because we like thinking about what we like.
Because we're language learners and we love language.
Mm-hmm.
And so we keep finding things we like. And I'll go first. And so after our discussion today, there's a few things I just want to say real quick. Kind of love cat's meows for me. One, your company is MacroMicro.
Yes.
And so I'm sure you've heard the term before, like a micromanager. So if you have a boss who's a micromanager, it's like he wants to manage everything you do in your job. And that's the boss everybody hates.
Yes.
And so I don't try to be that, okay, Paz?
Let it be clear that our producer right now is nodding her head very vigorously.
Right. So if you're a boss, don't be a micromanager. That's really bad. Okay. But also when we're talking about money and investment, one thing which I find really fun is the English expression to go belly up.
Belly up?
Yes. Oh, you don't know that?
I don't think I know that.
Okay, so you know what a belly is.
Yeah.
That's your stomach.
Yes.
And so when an animal is belly up, that probably means the animal's dead.
Oh.
And so if a company goes belly up, it means it goes
Down?
Bankrupt.
No, it goes bankrupt.
I see.
It's dead. So if you go belly up, you're in a bad situation, it means you have no more money. Okay?
Kinda like give up.
Right. But also another thing kind of related to that is you talk about money, which is currency. And so if you say somebody has currency, or what they say has currency, what does that mean, Paz?
It's valuable?
Yes, or you can trust it. It's something, they're saying something which you can believe in, you can trust.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, today, I think what Jason has been saying has all had currency.
Yes.
It's all
Oh,
something
I
we can
see.
trust. It's valuable just like
Really?
money.
So like currency is kind of like trust.
Right.
If someone has the currency.
If someone has
Yeah.
currency, then it's something you can trust, you can believe in what they're doing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
Learned
so
something today.
maybe at the
Me
same time,
too.
like they can give you some money too, and that'll make it even better, okay? But anyway, so that's my contributions to my cat's meow today. Mm-hmm. And Jason, you're our guest, so we'll let you go last. So Paz, maybe what do you have to share with us?
Okay, so for my cat's meow, I have the phrase riding the wave. And the reason why I chose riding the wave specifically is because earlier I said that Jason is here to help us navigate the waters of the stock market.
Yay, that is a good association.
So riding the wave is kind of like jumping onto the boat. And, right now AI stocks are on the rise. Everybody's trying to jump on board and try to get in a little piece of this,
Getting part of the action.
Exactly. So that's what riding the wave means. It means like jumping on the bandwagon. Yes. And I have another one actually that I wanted to choose as a pet peeve. Let's see if I remember this correctly. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs lose money.
Why
Heard
is that?
one
Why is
before.
that?
Okay, so because I know like when you're talking about the stock market, you usually hear like the
Bears and bulls.
Yeah,
Yes.
bears and bulls. So bulls are charging forward. They're high risk takers.
Well, maybe we should ask Jason, what's a bull market?
It's a market that's going up.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And then bear is when they're a little bit more reserved. Maybe their risk appetite is not as big.
Wait, do you guys know why it's bull and bear?
I don't know actually. Why is it a bull and a bear?
Because they're nice big animals?
I think one of the explanation is because bull has the
horns.
horn
Uh-huh.
that's
Okay.
going up,
Okay.
and bear is trying to attack the what's
So
it
the
called?
paws go
Yes,
down.
going down. I think that's one of the explanation. I'm not sure whether that's true or not, but that's how I heard it before.
Yeah.
And it's an easy way to remember it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
remember now
yes.
because of that explanation.
Oh, that's okay.
That is
That
great.
makes a lot of sense. So bulls' horns go up, bears' claws go down when they're pouncing, and pigs are trying
Playing
to
in the
be,
dirt?
Yeah,
Playing in the mud?
They're too greedy. So in this case, with pigs lose money is because pigs tend to be a little bit too greedy, and so they do way too much in the stock market, and then they end up losing all of their money.
Interesting. I never heard that one before.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's,
Never heard of that.
So, Jason, do you have something you'd like to share with us?
I think for me, maybe cat's meow just like come up suddenly. Maybe liquidity.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
So like you were talking about currency.
Yes.
And you were talking about wave. That's how I come up with liquidity, because liquidity is like money in the market, or how much money does or cash does the company have. So like 意向上的 figuratively，
Yes.
它是有把钱的概念化成像是水一样，
Yeah.
然后这市场上面有很多钱，就像那个海里面有很多水一样。
Yes.
所以 liquidity 会影响到市场的一个走向。那我觉得这是 maybe 是我的 cat's meow。
Yeah, it's very good connection right there.
Okay, good. I think that was really great.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jason.
Thanks
and
for
thank you
having
for
me.
your very insightful, I want to say lectures, but your very insightful explanations.
Exactly. He wasn't lecturing us today.
Exchange of ideas.
Yes.
And so, Jason, you're from what company again?
MacroMicro,
Okay, right. So people can check out your podcast too.
of course.
Okay.
MM Podcast.
Sometimes I will appear on podcast, MacroMicro podcast.
Yes.
Well, make sure you send us a note the next time you appear on your podcast so we can give it a
problem at all.
listen, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll shout out to Tim and Paz on
You better.
MacroMicro's
Thank
If
podcast.
you don't, we'll be throwing some rocks and tomatoes at your office or something like that. But I want to thank everyone for joining us again for the ICRT Breakdown. It is brought to you by the NDC Bilingual 2030 Policy Program. So thank you very much, Paz.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jason, for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Breaking the ice, breaking the mold, breaking down the news. You've been listening to ICRT Breakdown, a bilingual 2030 policy program brought to you in association with the National Development Council.